Hi, good morning. You are muted. You're on mute, I think. You're on mute. Hi, good morning. Namaskar. Hi, good morning. You're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are muted. You're on mute, I think. You're on mute. Hi, good morning. Namaskar. Hi, good morning. Yeah, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are muted. You're on mute, I think. Good morning. Good morning. Namaskar. You're on mute. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Yeah, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are muted. Your audio is on mute. I think. Good morning. Bit of a background noise. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe ask your system operator to set that up. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Bit of a background noise. I'm getting it. Yeah, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are muted. Your audio is on mute. I think. Good morning. Bit of a background noise. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe ask your system operator to set that up. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Bit of a background noise. I'm getting it. Yeah, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are your audio is on mute. I think. Good morning. Bit of a background noise. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe ask your system operator to set that up. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Bit of a background noise. I'm getting it. Yeah, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are your audio is on mute. I think. Good morning. Bit of a background noise. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe ask your system operator to set that up. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Bit of a background noise. I'm getting it. Yeah, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are your audio is on mute. I think. Good morning. Bit of a background noise. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe ask your system operator to set that up. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Bit of a background noise. I'm getting it. Yeah, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are your audio is on mute. I think. Good morning. Bit of a background noise. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe ask your system operator to set that up. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Bit of a background noise. I'm getting it. Yeah, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are your audio is on mute. I think. Good morning. Bit of a background noise. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe ask your system operator to set that up. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Bit of a background noise. I'm getting it. Yeah, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are your audio is on mute. I think. Good morning. Bit of a background noise. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe ask your system operator to set that up. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Bit of a background noise. I'm getting it. Yeah, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are your audio is on mute. I think. Good morning. Bit of a background noise. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe ask your system operator to set that up. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Bit of a background noise. I'm getting it. Yeah, you're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are your audio is on mute. I think. Good morning. Bit of a background noise. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe ask your system operator to set that up. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. There's still some audio issue. Bit of a background noise. I'm getting it. You're on mute. I'm not able to hear you. You are now seems to be a little better. Good morning. Bit of a background noise. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe ask your system operator to set that up. Am I audible enough? Hi, good morning. Good morning. Still some audio issue. Thank you. Now seems to be a little better. Yeah.
Yo, John Mala, you did a good job last time. If you recall.
Good morning. Still some audio issue. Thank you. Now seems to be a little
704.
better. Yeah.
Actually, I think we should start. Yo, John Mala, you did a good job last time. If you recall.
Good morning.
How many are joined?
Thank you. Now seems to be a little
704
better.
to say. Maybe 300-400.
Yeah.
Me plus, I think we should start. Yo,
People
John
are
Mala,
not
lab film
all.
50, 100, if you recall.
Good morning.
How many are joined?
Thank you.
All sound is okay to say. Maybe 300-400.
So, good morning.
Me plus, I think we should start.
Good morning.
Yo,
People
John
are
Mala, lab film
all.
50,
Let
100,
me,
if you recall.
first of all,
How many are joined?
on behalf of
Thank you.
the entire AcSIR
All
family,
sound is okay to say.
welcome
Maybe
Professor Sonde,
300-400.
So, our guest speaker
Good
today,
morning. Plus, I think we should start. Good
for
morning.
this
People are
interaction with the students, let me first of all, it's my proud on behalf of privilege and honor to extend a very warm welcome to you, sir,
Professor
and for our guest speaker and thanking you for accepting our invitation to be here this morning. First of all, I know you have you are extremely busy and you have several commitments, but despite those commitments, and it's gracious that you have kindly accepted our invitation. So once again, welcome to this. Today, you will be addressing them, and I feel really excited to tell you that perhaps this will be the largest kind of audience which you will have because and pan India audience. So at many CSIR laboratories, the lecture is being organized in the hall. Perhaps this so whatever number we have kind of audience people joining us online here and does not truly reflect the total number of students who will be hearing CSIR laboratories. So because they are arranging these in bigger auditoria and halls, perhaps this so whatever number we have as expected, joining we expect more than 1500 students joining for this lecture. Students who will be hearing in that sense, it's again so because they are arranging great in bigger excitement that so many students are there to hear you. And let me tell the students that more than 1500 we could not have found joining a better person, a better speaker than Professor Sonde to address you as you are beginning your career. I will now request Professor Ajaydhar to kindly introduce the today's speaker, and then we will request Professor Sonde to deliver his talk. Professor Dar, please.
Thank you, Professor Manoj sir. Before I start, am I audible to all the students? They can listen. They said yes. Okay. Uh, it's indeed great privilege for me to introduce Professor R. Sonde, who wears many hats as of now. He's a scientist, technologist, policymaker, and an innovator par excellence. Professor Sonde has a unique distinction of having worked in government, in public sector, in corporate sector, and finally lately in academia, where he is currently a professor at IIT Delhi. Professor Sonde is an authority on all the facets of energy, whether it's nuclear, thermal, or renewable. In fact, I recall that he used to talk very passionately about technological innovation more than 2 to 3 decades back, when this was a rather unknown concept in doctoral research in India. Professor Sonde is one of the first proponents of the industry academic collaboration, which he himself demonstrated by developing several technologies in collaboration with universities and government research institutions. Professor Sonde joined Bhabha Atomic Research Center, where he was awarded the Homi Bhabha Gold Medal by the Prime Minister in 2006 for his outstanding contributions in the area of nuclear energy. Later, after a stint at NTPC as its head of R&D and Energy Technology Center, he moved to Thermax as an executive vice president innovation and technology. At Thermax, he nurtured several technologies based on his innovations, primarily on green energy generation and storage. Currently, he is working at Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, as a professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering. Professor Sonde has been recipient of several awards, honors, and the list of which is very long. And due to paucity of time, I will just list a very few. He is a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering, member of FICCI and CII Committee on Power, chairman Task Force of NITI Aayog on methanol, member of Apex Committee on Methanol Economy, member of CII on Education Council and IPR committees, and member and head of IP committees on collaborative development and CII, and many names are here, which I will not read. Finally, students, believe me what Professor Manoj Dhar said, we would not have found a better speaker for today's lecture who can motivate our fresh doctoral students for innovation during their doctoral research. Finally, students. So I think Dr. Sonde will primarily, I hope, talk about what students can do apart from the regular traditional way of getting a PhD. Our fresh and I think he will highlight the more innovation during their doctoral research. Thank you so much, and so I think Dr. Sonde will primarily, I hope, talk about what
thank you
students
very
can
much,
do
Professor
apart from
Ajay
the
Dhar,
regular
for
traditional
such a
way of
gracious and
getting a
generous
PhD.
introduction
Our
of
fresh
me,
and I think he will highlight the more innovation during their doctoral research. Thank you so
imagine
much,
that,
and
you know,
so I
I've
think
been
Dr.
through such
Sonde
a
will primarily,
vast body of
I hope, talk
intellectually
about
capable
what
students, and
students can
very
do
much that there is
apart from the regular traditional
also
way
there.
of getting a
Generous
PhD. Our
introduction of
fresh
me,
and I think he
I
will
would
highlight the
Mr.
more
Manoj Dhar
innovation
for
during their
inviting me.
doctoral research. Thank
So
you
I
so much,
think
and so I think Dr. Sonde will primarily, I hope, talk about what students can do apart from the regular traditional way of getting a PhD. Our fresh and I think he will highlight the more innovation during their doctoral research. Thank you so much, and so I think Dr. Sonde will primarily, I hope, talk about what students can do apart from the regular traditional way of getting a PhD. Our fresh and I think he will highlight the more innovation during their doctoral research. Thank you so much, and so I think Dr. Sonde will primarily, I hope, talk about what students can do apart from the regular traditional way of getting a PhD. Our fresh and I think he will highlight the more innovation during their doctoral research. Thank you so much, and so I think Dr. Sonde will primarily, I hope, talk about what students can do apart from the regular traditional way of getting a PhD.
Allow
Our
me to
fresh
kind of
and I think he
present
will
my
highlight the
thing.
more
There are only
innovation
20 slides.
during their
I would request
doctoral
that we should
research.
have a little bit of a question and answer session if it's possible. If somebody can post it, and I would request Professor Ajay Dhar to kind of let me know maybe 4 or 5 questions so that we understand whether I'm able to kind of connect with all of you. I hope that my audio is okay and my video will be also all right. I may take about next 45 minutes, and for that I will start my presentation. Give me a minute to share my presentation to all of you. Let me know maybe 4 or 5 questions so that we understand whether I'm able to kind of connect with all of you. I hope that my audio is okay and my video will be also all right. I may take about. Is this visible, Professor Dar? I will start my presentation. Give me a minute to
Not yet.
share my presentation to all. My
Yes, it
slides
has
are
been.
visible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, Perhaps maybe it is taking
I'm
some
getting
time.
some thumbs up that they are able to see that.
Yeah, yeah. I am
Professor
able
Dar?
to see. Yes.
Not yet.
Here I am
You are
able
able
to
to
see.
see. So should I begin or should I wait, Professor Dar? Yes.
Uh,
I
Perhaps
think
I think
yes.
field, if not today morning, as of yesterday evening. So you cannot say that I did not know this was happening. So you are now having on your fingertips everything that is happening in the world in the field of research that you're doing it as of yesterday evening. And therefore, your requirement to elevate yourself to that level higher than what is done in the world is the greatest excitement to do that, because I mean, I know in our times to get a literature or publication or talking to somebody, I mean, you can't imagine what was India in the 70s and 80s. I mean, none of you are born at that time. I'm not saying, I mean, this journey was important. We just celebrated our 77th Independence Day. I mean, when you look at our first 60 years, where India could barely touch a $1 trillion economy, and today we are talking about $3.5 trillion economy. We are number 5 in the world, and it is soon, in about 2 years' time, we'll become number 3 in the world, and in next 30 years, by 2047, we will become a developed economy with about $29 trillion economy. So in your active life, my dear students, please bear my words. In your active life, you will be building an entirely new India. Because what is India today at 3.5, which is a great, that as I said, because we are adding $1 trillion. I hope you understand when I'm saying $1 trillion every 2 years or 3 years. And therefore, when we reach that $30 trillion, our per capita income will be about $18,000, which is where we have to go. And that is where you will be part of that new India building. And as everybody has said, unless, and that cannot be just built on only dollars or rupees, it has to be built on a heavy, heavy knowledge economy. So there is no other way. I mean, I just don't want to say this. And therefore, my dear students, today's uh, world that you are entering is a very exciting world, and bring that excitement in your work, and I'm sure it'll be far more rewarding to all of you than just doing work because for the sake of work, or because for you have been asked to do that. Bring that passion, bring that new approach in your life. So this is something which is going to be the core of my presentation. So being joyous, because ultimately, why I use that word joy? Because ultimately, if you look at it, human beings pursued right from the beginning. Let's say 100,000 years back, when the first Homo sapiens and all the other things, and today we are supposed to be one of the highly intellectually capable species, have been only one pursuit, that is joy and happiness. Okay, and many times in that pursuit, my dear students, we are missing many things because we don't know what is joy, what is happiness, and hence, uh, my feeling is that all of you should have a goal in your life, and higher the goal, I'm sure it will be higher. Higher the goal will be, your higher joy will be there. So unfortunately, very often, because of some Western world influence, we equate happiness to plenty of money. And I'm not saying money should not be there. I mean, I'm saying what money can do, and I'm saying that it is important, but it cannot bring. And please note it, it cannot bring you an everlasting joy and happiness. So that is one kind of a learning at this stage. I mean, I'm already 66. I've lived two-thirds of my life. Really two-thirds of my life. I realize that it will not be the only one. To get a joy is a very internal emotion. It's a very internal, it's a very personal emotion, and can come when we ourselves reach to our highest possibility. In any profession that we choose, where you become the ultimate authority in the field that you are choosing, then a very personal emotion, enormous amount of joy can come, and that can happen in only two branches of life. I mean, it can happen in any profession. For me, it is one liberal art. So you become music theologian, you become a sculptor, you become an architect, you become a writer, you can get into those liberal arts. And the second place place where you can get that infinite source of joy is doing science. It is one. I mean, I tell it to my all students here sitting in IIT Delhi, and I really try to how important, and I try to inculcate that getting deeper and deeper into science gives you enormous amount of joy, and when you is doing not discriminate between life, and because when I was in the corporate life, you say, oh, Professor Sonde, you how discriminate what is life and what is work, work-life balance, deeper into science. Gives you enormous amount of joy. For me, science is work, work is life, life is work. There is no difference in that. And that is what made me enormously all the time I'm discriminating. Even in the middle of the night, I will be moving with a lot of energy because I feel that I'm every day doing something which is different than what I did yesterday. That creativity, the human intellect of a creativity makes me enormously happy, and that is what you will get while doing a PhD. A PhD is such a powerful pursuit, my dear students, and I'm not saying just because you are telling, I mean, I'm addressing you people because you are deep diving into this entire mystery called universe to make a statement. Please listen to me what I'm saying. To make a statement am I audible? Okay, all right. So there are somebody has raised their hand, so I was just wondering what is there any problem. So coming back to this, so I'm just saying that you have to make that statement, and that new statement need not necessarily fetch you a Nobel laureate. I mean, don't assume that when I'm discovering something, everything should give you a Nobel Prize. But that creation, that you have created something which are not known to the world as of before you got your PhD, can make you take you to a very different plane. And therefore, I consider that that's a very important thing that that you have to do. And hence, the excitement joy comes at a great responsibility. But please understand, this particular excitement comes. I mean, one would like to be always joyful, happy, and excited about life, but it comes with a great responsibility. Absolute need of scientific rigor and integrity. My dear students, you will be hearing this word scientific rigor and integrity very often in my next 30 minutes of talk. It's important as you're entering into this particular phase of your life of acquiring this PhD. There'll be many temptations on you to somehow make this happen. I'm not saying deliberately you do it, and therefore your moral values, ethical standards, and somehow this integrity may get into a difficult. So I tell this to every student of mine, and you being my, I mean, from a favorite CSR family, I really feel that today what is important for each one of us to remain integrity at the highest level, that whatever I'm doing is mine. I'm not going to own anybody else's work as mine. My moral values, my ethical values are such CSR family. I really feel once you today what is important for each one of us to remain integrity at the highest level. That whatever I close my talk is on this. Your anybody else's work as my moral values, my ethical values of integrity. I hope I really feel once you today what is important for each one of us to remain integrity at the highest level. What is this? That whatever I close my talk is on this. So bring the else's work as my moral values, my ethical values of integrity. I hope I really feel once you claim that matters for each one of us to remain integrity at the highest level. What is this? That whatever I close my talk is on this. So bring the else's work as my moral values, my ethical values of integrity. I hope I really feel once you claim that matters for each one of us to remain what is this moral values level? What is this that whatever I Lord, my things so during my I said and you are not being works my I renew it that my for we did not say that what is this moral values level? What is this that whatever I Lord, my things so during my I said and not being works my I renew it that my for we did not say that what is this moral values level? What is this that whatever I Lord, my things so during my I said and not being works my I renew it that my for we did not say that what is this moral values level? What is this that whatever I Lord, my things so during my I said and not being works my
and my PhD was working on a small device of developing this deuterium and hydrogen. I'm not boring you with what my research work was, and developing a process, a contact through this direct mass and heat transfer, because we didn't want to do a separate heat exchangers. We wanted to couple this heat and mass transfer together with a reactor. I mean, this is something which was very complex at that point in time for our heavy water production. I'm just giving you a small sketch of this particular thing, because we didn't want to do a separate very complex process. We wanted to couple this heat and mass transfer together with a reactor. I mean, this is something which was very complex at that point in time. We did this for our heavy water production. I just give you a small sketch of this particular thing. One atom out of we didn't want to do a separate very complex process. We want to couple this heat and chemical together. We did that. And today we are very proud, my dear. But we did this for our heavy water production. I just give you a small sketch of this particular thing. One atom out of we didn't want to do a separate any money. We did want to couple this heat and chemical together. We did that. And today we are very proud, my dear. But we did this for our heavy water production. I just give you a small sketch of this particular thing. And we do that. Imagine any money. AcSIR, ISRO, how much excitement? I mean, can that be compared with getting $1 million or something? No way. That excitement, that we did it is something which is going to be, and that is the power of PhD, and especially doing it which can contribute to the national progress is something which is very, very important. So therefore, my dear students, again I come back that today's economy is a knowledge economy, okay? And therefore, if you talk about IIT, I mean, today, if you tell me why is IITs are so well, if we get about 1,400 crores, it is because of the strength of PhD students. In 70s, 80s, 90s, our job was only to teach. It was only the BTech, the JEE qualified students. But today, we have got a 50% strength coming from PhD, wonderful students. And that is the strength of our academic institutions. And I'm sure same is true with the CSIR. And I'm sure all of you are going to be creating, because today's new India is aspirational India. As I said, we want to bring that $30 trillion. It is going to happen in your active life. We are going to bring equity. We are going to bring economic development. We are going to bring social justice. All this can happen not by any other thing, not by only money, not by any politics, not by any civic. It is based on the knowledge economy. And hence, if I trace about India development, it is very right that I'm talking to you just after our 76 years and 77th year we celebrated. Pre-independence, we had a different challenge. People like C.V. Ramans and J.C. Bose and Khuranas, they wanted to show to this colonial rule, because there was a colonial mindset. There's a slavish mindset which has gotten into India because of that 1,000 years of being raided by others, that we want to prove that Indians have the highest level of intellect. And that was the expression that people like C.V. Ramans and Chandrasekhar, they wanted to do in those times. Then come to 70s, our time, what was given to us? Our time was only, as I said, when we made India free of all these bans and technology denials. We wanted to build a self-reliant India. That is
what happened, and enormous work we did. I mean, hats off to the engineers and scientists, which made India what it was in terms of this high technology, whether it's in the space or defense or in atomic energy. And then post-liberation, 1992, there's a point of inflection. I'm sure you must know that India had a different kind of a democracy which was more socialistic oriented. And here came that we want socialism, but we also want capitalism. So people like Narayan Murthy's and all of them, I mean, Aziz Premji's, so many of them created an enterprise. They said that knowledge is not separate and prosperity is not separate. Saraswati is not separate. Lakshmi is not separate. We need to bring them together. And that is what happened in 1992, my dear students. And that is where the knowledge economy started taking shape in India. And that is where you find those enormous amount of explosion in the share market and stock market, and knowledge economy and digital world happened in a way that a lot of people started getting into the digital world. But what was important is that India was now a changing country, and this could happen. And today, when you talk about what is the goal of young people like you, especially young India, is definitely to make India the country of the greatest economic development with social justice. And that, my dear students, I repeat again, sorry for repeating this, can happen only on the basis of doctoral students. We need more doctoral students. I don't want to say this, but I'll say this again. Today, the way China showed for 30 years, when Chinese students used to go to US, and now they realize that US became number one, the West became number one, not because it was having a kind of a God's divine message that they must become one, but they became number one, my dear students, only because they resorted. Academic work is most important. So if you name major, whether it's a Meta or Google or you name G, all of them came from academic and research institutions, period. I mean, I don't know whether you have seen this Oppenheimer and looked at how this Los Alamos and Stanford and University of Berkeley's work for developing the Trinity bomb. I mean, you will realize how academia and research plays into the economy of the world, and that China realized it. It realized 30 years back, and today, when you see in first 500, there are at least 200 Chinese institutions where research and incubations, research and innovation is going together, and that is what I aspire India to be in the next millennium. So that is important. Now, I mean, my personal journey, if I had to just give you one example of my personal journey, my dear students, I did my graduation in 70s, joined BRCA, Professor Ajay Dhar talked about it. Plunged, we didn't have time to breathe. I graduated from a training school. Next day, I was put in charge of the heavy water technology. So we didn't look here, there, nothing. We were just deep into science. You must see in those days when I was there, you could not even recognize there was no day, there was no night, there was nothing, because we didn't have computers. We had to do everything on a faxing machine. We had to go to some place because computers were not allowed for India to be used, the digital corporation. So we had to work under such constraint, and therefore to develop this complex technology under constraint was a huge challenge. In 80s, we did that particular thing, and I enjoyed that particular work. There was an excitement to do something new that we are doing, and at the same time, that new is going to be flowing into the country's development, and making India self-reliant was a fundamental thing which was dogmatized in us, that make India self-reliant in those 80s. And then 90s, after 10 years of working, I said, I've acquired knowledge. Things were getting stable. A lot of plants were getting built on the heavy water. I thought, let me take a step back and see how much academics I must bring into my work. I thought, I mean, at that point in time, that I know everything about my technology. I should be given PhD. No. When I went back to IIT Bombay, my alma mater, I realized that yes, I had done enormous work, but to put that work into a PhD mode required a very different, and again, about 2 years, I worked to understand whatever I knew, my experience,
to convert back into research and did a deep research in developing whatever I showed you, those new devices and simulations and modelings, and working on the entire system of a isotope separation. I'll not again get to that. But getting a PhD, my dear students, is not simply I got this heavy water technology or made that one statement of doing a combined heat mass transfer with a chemical reaction. But what I enjoyed, my dear student, it kind of gave me a power, and I use that power very well, of solving any complex problems not related to the field. So that kind of a awareness suddenly came out of my that 2 years of work in thing. I realized that universally all the phenomena can be coupled by a single equation. I mean, like the wave equation or a Schrodinger equation. I realized that it may look different. The chemical system, the biological system, the physical system, the metaphysical system, the digital system. But I realized suddenly, oh, there's a commonality to all these things. And once I cracked that, today, I mean, you put me into any field, whether it's a medical field or a biological field or chemical field, or I feel that I understand how to look at the complex problems to decompose. So PhD is not only getting deep into your science and technology, but PhD arms you to look at the problem solving capabilities in a far bigger way. So this is something which I suddenly realized. And then the communication. How do you communicate? Because very often we lack in our communication because of enormous amount of presentations and seminars and symposiums and paper presentations and so much of thing. I mean, communication became very, and then when you see from 90s, I moved to NTPC at various places, my dear students. It was a journey, and I can tell you, before PhD, after PhD. One Sonde before PhD, Dr. Sonde was, it is not important as a doctor, but I felt that I'm armed with something else, and that is something which and my coming back to academics, as Professor Ajay Dar mentioned, is only to part some of that simple knowledge to all of you, my dear students, to understand that getting here is only to communicate. And therefore, when Professor Manoj Dar asked me, I said, I will not lose any opportunity. Today was a little hectic day, being a Friday. My classes are there and there are some things, but this is something which I want to do it. So I want to communicate. I'll take another 15 minutes, Professor Ajay Dar, if it's okay. I'll just take 15 minutes and give you a few things about mine. So what are the big challenges today, my dear students? As I said, climate change. In every place, I'm sure out of your whatever 56 institutions, what Professor Manoj Dar mentioned, I'm sure all of them are working on one or the other challenges on climate change, whether it's a clean energy, whether it's a waste management, whether it's circular economy, whether it is managing this entire complex chemical processes. I'm on the research council of a few laboratories of CSIR. The many problems are related to this climate change, because climate change, my dear students, is an existential crisis. Understand this word, existential crisis. Tipping point, we are going beyond. In fact, that's where when I met Professor Manoj Dar in 2 weeks back, when we had a carbon capture and utilization, the entire industry, academia, research, government institutions are coming together to how to solve this big bull in the room in terms of this. And that is something which I mean, at this age, 24/7, my dear students, you knock at my door, I'll be talking about it in the corridors, in everywhere, because that is one problem that we are seized of. Of course, the AI and genetic engineering, entering in those areas considered as sacred. Now you realize that maybe consciousness is there in AI. Consciousness, if it is there in the AI can have emotions, or it can be engineered emotions. There is a big threat to humanity. The first one is the existential because of the nature that we have triggered. Second one is a created anthropogenic challenge, that how do we elevate ourselves? Because today the way AI is going, it is going to make all of us redundant, because it can do everything. 99.99% of what we can do, AI can do. And if it brings that particular consciousness, and that's a very different topic, I don't want to spend your time on that, and the nuclear war. And therefore, we have to work on these particular things in our next district. So, sorry, yeah. 1 second. So climate change is, of course, I'm not going to be talking, that's my favorite topic, but I'm not going to be talking about it. But I just want to mention to you that, please, my dear students, if one problem that you're going to be solving, I'm sure your supervisors and your seniors will give you, is on how do you mitigate, because unless we bring back our this one back into operation,
will find it difficult, and therefore it is an important problem to be solved. How do you do that? I will give you one simple mantra. How do you build new economy? How do you build knowledge-based economy? Just remember this four-quadrant theory. Just remember this four-quadrant theory. That is, if you talk about the value of proposition and quality of materials, now what we did in our time, we put more from more. The Western philosophy was put more, get more. Build big houses, big complexes, big cars, big ships, big more material. So it was a very linear engineering we did at that time. We didn't bother. We didn't know how we are spoiling the ecology by doing this big. So that was where we have a linear R&D that has happened. It was a hedonistic in some other places where you are doing unnecessarily more than what is required. India was in this jugaad system, less from less. And what is required, my dear students, again, I'm not going to discuss too much about it. More from less is the essence of innovation. So if you ask me what is innovation, I don't want to give any philosophical definition, but I want to just tell you that essence of innovation is how do you extract more from less? Okay, how do we do it? This is where your PhDs will challenge you. Just go back before you start solving the problem. Don't solve the problem. First, understand the problem. My hold and hands, I'm requesting you, understand the problem. Because unless we do this and try to extract more from that, that's actually a second of thermodynamics. I'm a student of thermodynamics, and therefore I really find that how do you do this? In fact, your brain also. You realize that we are using only 3% of our brain's capability. Is that the way that we have to utilize? Therefore, AI is, we have got 90% of the brain is not activated, both right and left side brain. Because if you can just do that, you will realize what is that you can do as a human being. Enormous amount of things. And PhD becomes a vehicle for you to test yourself. This is a vehicle that allows you, how do I elevate my thinking? Therefore, while you may do literature survey, you may do everything, we may do what is the state of the art, what is happening yesterday evening in your field, you will have to think where you are going to bring a difference, where you are going to make that difference. And that can come only out of your, I'm going to tell later on 6 mantras for you. And that's my last slide, which I'm going to talk about, the 6 mantras, which I'm going to explain to you about how this is to be done. I will, I mean, there are many things. I mean, I don't want to take much time. This I'll leave it with the administration to share it. I mean, last 10 years when photovoltaic became a thing, I was a person who said photovoltaic will not happen. It is just an imagination of a solid state physicist. Photovoltaic, how can a solid state physics with the way that electrons are coming from a photon conversion with the h nu, which can take only in a small band gap, cannot give me the electricity that I'm generating from a second of thermodynamics of a coal combustion and generating a steam and then turbine, and which is what the thermal power, because I was the executive director. But realize in 10 years, today the solar PV power cost is less than the cost of a coal-based power plant. What I mean, it happened in just 9 years, my dear students. And the enormous research that happened as a part of PhD, I think at least the last count I was saying, there were 38,000 PhD people who worked in all this. I mean, this is a very cluttered chart, which worked to ensure that the PV, which was supposed to be such a holy grail for solid state physicists, became a normal piece. And in next 20 years, when you're talking about the net zero, and I don't want to talk about, but I sometimes feel that I must really talk to you about what happened in this one branch. And that gives an example how this PhDs, how this research, but how the collaboration. This is one thing very important. PhD is your individual contribution, but you have to collaborate with a lot of people, because then only when a lot of ideas come, your own individuality to that idea will become very obvious. I mean, now I teach this in I conduct several courses, new ammonia way of making ammonia, new managing of CO2 problems, and how do you really manage all these things. So there are, again, I'm not taking time. Hydrogen, I mean, just after this, I got a mission because I'm running a big hydrogen valley, because hydrogen is the next way of model. Again, my students, I'm not touching on this all aspects, but it's an extremely important aspect. So it is something which is happening in your active career. You must be all of you maybe in the age of 20 or 25, and in next 40 years, when India is touching that $30 trillion economy, you will be the part of it. You will be the part of, and that can happen only because of your knowledge economy. And that knowledge economy can come only when you do your research work and nothing else. I mean, everything else is a kind of a thing. So again, I'm not talking about many of these things. So ultimately, 5 pillars will get transformed in the world in next 30 years. If India is committed for a net zero, again, I don't know to get into the definition of what is net zero. And that's important because every country, when we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we are here. Okay, we did not contribute to CO2 emissions. We did not contribute to this climate change. 97% came from the developed world only by just 20 countries. But we cannot now say that. Yes, they realize that this is because of the problem that happened because of the industrial revolution and using inefficient technologies. But today, when we say that all the world we should come together, Vasudhaiva is what is that we are talking, then all is industry, transport, buildings, fossil, and I can assure you, if you give me all your problems, they will fall in any one of these silos, any one of these verticals. So whatever the old thermal power plant, old boiler, old transport, old steel plant, old agriculture economy will change to a green economy. And this is one thing where it is not $1 billion economy, my dear students. It's $1 trillion. Today, the global economy is about $88 trillion. And that all of the $1 trillion are based on fossil. And fossil will go away next 30 years. And green economy will come. And that is where you will find a new way of power generation. All these things will become a new important thing. So coming back to my closing few slides, my dear students, disruptive world is what you are entering into. Disruptive technologies. And it is a fact that we are seeing much less disruptive technology than other. So this needs to be reversed. So we need to get into the disruptive technologies. So I will give you my 5 mantras. Please remember it. If you want, write it down. This is my kind of accumulated 45 years of my working. Number 1, bring speed to your work. Bring speed to your work. Hard work, bring speed to your work. Every day is important. Don't just while away. You have no time. Just be seized of the problem and bring speed to your work. Smart design of experiments. This is very important. I conduct a course on design of experiments. How do you do design experiments? So today, just don't jump into conducting experiment just because somebody is telling you. Just understand, because today a lot of these AML tools are available, Gaussian process are available, so that you can only do that experiment which is required. Can you think? Do you have an intuitive power that I can do the last experiment? Because every time when you do experiment, we fail. I should have done this way. I knew this, but then why did you not do that? So we go to this old rigmarole of doing a very sequential thing, and a lot of time gets wasted. So smart design, I do take a course on how do you really do this smart design of experiments. Brave to accept failure, but move fast. Failures will happen. If it is not, then you are not done your PhD. You are not just failures, but move fast. Don't remain seated. Oh, why it is happening to me? If failure is there, you say it's a divine message to me for doing it. So therefore, accept the failures, move fast. I mean, in atomic energy, we were taught like this when we were developing. We didn't have a reference. We failed. We made silly design. What we textbook is student coming out and asking to develop this, like the fellow is asking to send a moon to the this into the moon. So it is, but we made mistakes. Our Chandrayaan 2 failed, but that is where Chandrayaan 3 is going to be. And I pray that it should happen. Brave to accept failure, move fast. Look out for creating IP. Now, this is one message I'm giving to even your senior scientists. We have to develop. This is the Chinese mantra. How China has beaten West, and today China is #1 economy on a PPP basis. You will realize that they have enormous. When I look at papers, 80% of the papers, to take any topic, you'll find 80% is covered by China. I'm not saying this, it becomes difficult for me. I feel hurt because just about 20 years back, China was behind India, and today it has 6 times more economy than India. Shows that they have depend on knowledge economy is equated to IP, intellectual property rights. The patent designs are very important, and bring spiritual practice in your life. This is very important, guys. End of the day, this particular culture, and I'm not referring to any religion, this culture has told us how to be meditative, how to your job is your meditation, and that gives you enormous satisfaction. Again, on a spiritual thing, I have been recipient of this kind of a spiritual this thing, and therefore I tell you that bring that spirituality in life. The characters you must develop, integrity and integrity. Absolutely, you have to bring them. propriety in your dealings. Be absolutely propriety. Equity, that should be your mantra. Propriety in your building. Emotional intelligence, extremely important, because as you will see, a lot of failures, emotional intelligence will be important. EQ is today more important because all of you are bestowed with IQ. No need of again verifying that. Everybody has a different way of expressing their IQ. But today, what is important in this disruptive world? You feel I have developed something, but somebody else has already developed better than you. So how do you can completely feel, oh my, these many months of years of work is going down the drain? It will. But having that courage and bringing that emotional intelligence, saying that no, that was the way that I want to do it, is very important. Communication skills, very important. Compassion, my dear students, compassion. Bring that love in your heart. The joy comes, along with joy comes this love and ecstasy. The joy of love is very important. Compassion. Everybody is yours. Don't bring divisive nature. Be inclusive in your all your this thing. Clarity in your thought everywhere. When you express yourself, because many times when students come, they don't know how to express because you have not looked at. So you have to heighten your awareness to bring clarity in your thoughts. Very important, my dear students. And therefore, closing remarks. Posture quadrant as a mode of R&D thrust. So if you have to keep one goal, you know the Stokes theorem. I'm sure many of you understood that, knowledge and its application. If I talk about x-axis on an application and y-axis on knowledge, you will realize that knowledge, which has got a highest kind of a application, is the one that one should go for. So that is very important. Haber-Bosch discovered ammonia. Great work. And today, if we are surviving, it's because of ammonia that was discovered by the Haber. They got the Nobel Prize too. And in my field, and therefore I just referred that name. But our Pasteur, research was great. Its impact was great. Niels Bohr, yes, research was great, but maybe he was into how to look at the universe. That's a very important thing, because we as an intellectual, we are still worried about what is this universe, where is the beginning, what is happening, what are the black stars, why it is happening, how is the whole thing. I mean, this is required because we get overwhelmed when I just look at the universe and that question. And then, of course, pure applied research is like people like Edison's research was done by many people, but they knew how to convert that research into big. I mean, today GE became one of the biggest with the engines and all that. Started from Edison working on this, and we should not be in a tinkering mode. I mean, don't do research for research's sake. My dear students, please don't do with a folded hands. I'm telling you, just do elevate yourself, bring that pleasure, bring that excitement in your life. So innovation is the key. That's the underlining. How do you get innovation? Creativity because of spirituality, and that has to be very important because India has to leapfrog now. Simply doing incremental to bhuja, significant leap is also not required. We need to leapfrog because India has to grow this, and therefore innovation ecosystem is extremely important for India. So, my dear students, concluding, let wisdom prevail in all of you. This is my blessings, as your director told me. I bless all of you. Understand what I've said, munch over it, think over it, and follow this, because we must learn to happily progress together. Together is the operating word here, or miserably perish. Man can live individually, but can survive only collectively. So if you bring that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam said in our Atharva Veda, I think that's the way forward for the entire globe to get this. So with this, again, with my best wishes to all of you, I close my talk and hand it over back to Professor Ajay Dhar. Thank you very much, all ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Sonde, for a very inspiring talk. And I'm sure this talk was very timely because our students whom we are addressing have just begun their journey of research for their PhDs. So I don't know about students, but at least I am quite motivated to start my PhD again, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Professor Dhar.
Wonderful talk, sir. Thank you so much. It was really wonderful. And in these, what students are actually giving you lots of love and appreciation and thumbs up and so on.
I'm overwhelmed, so that, yeah.
So that only shows that the kind of how they have really loved this lecture, and some of these thumbs ups are from me. I was also trying to do it in between. So thank you so much. It was really wonderful, and I think we can take few questions if you permit.
Yeah. Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So
it will not be
now is the time.
I at least address 2 or 3 questions, Professor Dhar. So please allow me to do that. request them to either write it down or whatever way that your admin has decided to do this.
So maybe Ashwini, you can allow some. If anybody wants to ask a question, please raise a hand or send us in the chat box. So yes, you can allow them. Names you can say.
Ashwini, can you many slides. I have just gone a little fast, allowing that some questions will be. I have to give some time for question and answer. So if there's something else, shall I stop sharing in that case 1 second, or let me wait for something? Yeah.
Mr. Harsh Bajpai can ask. Mr. Harsh Bajpai, can you ask your question, please? Harsh?
You can put it in the chat box also if you want, my dear students. Yeah, Harsh, Sandeep Maiti and Shankar Kumar, these three people have raised their hand. Either they can get and ask me the question, or you can put in the chat box. Either of them, please be quick because we have got other programs to be completed. So Harsh, Sanket Kumar and Saad, I think they are the three ones. Please go ahead.
Are you allowing them?
Yeah.
So I think I can read out, maybe if you permit me. First question is from M. Iqbal. He says, how to avoid procrastination?
Yeah. No, you give me all the questions, sir, and then I will answer them together probably. Okay. If you can give all the questions. Okay. I'm just writing it down so that I can answer them together in one trench.
Yeah. Second question is from Swati Verma. Sir, what is the proper way to start the PhD?
Okay.
And third question is Rajendra Singh, Sonu Verma, how to balance between research, life and social personal life?
Okay.
So far, maybe I think.
Yeah, I will just take these three questions as a representative to this thing. There are many questions asked, but I don't know. Now, I mean, as I mentioned, my dear students, just 1 second, let me, there is no need of my presentation. 1 second. Yeah. So, my dear students, you have to look at PhD as a different direction to your life. Okay, so you have lived certain life, you have come up to a certain level, but you have to take this as a point of inflection in your life. Once you assume that this is doing a PhD is bigger than my life, because that's something which is going to bring you entirely new you. Therefore, all that fatigue, or you are saying procrastinations or excuses, everything will just evaporate. Therefore, my theme of this talk was, you have to bring that joy and excitement. Procrastination, I find now students, even when I take a class at 9 o'clock, I find they're in a sleepy mode, and I just wonder, I mean, what is wrong with you guys? I mean, you are not loving your life. I mean, if you don't love your life, I think you will procrastinate. There is no time. In fact, for me, every hour is important, because I've lived 2/3 of my life, and 1/3 of life, 3 times I have to live. So I have no time to waste time in gossiping or doing something. I mean, bring cheer in your life. I'm not saying you should do your interest in music. Spend time on music. Whenever you feel that you are getting this thing, cultivate some habits in your life. Once you create some additional habits, and there is no difference when you do this. I mean, I started learning Hindustani ragas at the age of 45. But when I started looking at that particular samayas, and I said, yeah, it's so mathematical. 24 swaras, I mean, 7 swaras, 24 shrutis. And my teacher used to wonder, so how do you get this very fast? I said, I have used my mathematics in music. Of course. I mean, I'm not saying. So important thing, my dear students, is to cultivate some additional kind of a creative pursuit. You must do this particular thing. And therefore, when you talk about how do I differentiate my research and life and other ambitions, as I've said, they are all into one. There is no separate from your life. Unless you dedicate yourself, unless you plunge into this, you can live your life to your research. You can enjoy your thing to your research. Trying to say that, oh, research is separate, life is separate, my social this thing is different. No, It has to be converged. Then only you get a full-fledged outcome of your work. Now, Swati Verma's, how do you start PhD? I mean, please don't jump into trying to solve the problem of whatever has been you have understood. Understand the problem its entirety. Unless you understand the problem that you are solving, and very often many of our PhDs jump into solution or jump into something because they're in a hurry, you will actually miss the wood for the trees. And therefore, my request to all of you is to look at the problem, understand the problem. If you are not understood, discuss with your supervisors. If supervisor is not giving you, go to the this thing and get your problem very well defined. The clarity of thought is extremely important, and then only you must start your PhD. Of course, there are methods how to start it. As I said, you must understand what is happening in that field as of yesterday evening. You have to arm yourself with a lot of analytical tools. You must have your modeling capability. Your mathematics should be very strong, because STEM-based education, STEM-based PhD. What does STEM-based PhD mean? That today the physics is not in one; it's a multi-physics. Today, biology, nano, photons, electrochemistry, catalysts, everything is coming together, and therefore you have no time to put yourself there. I'll do PhD only on physical science or something. It has to be barriers have to be broken, and that's the way that we should do it. There are many questions, Professor Dar is coming, but I don't think I'll be able to answer that. Maybe they can send it to me, and I can have an individual personal conversation. I'm okay to do that. I can write to them and give them, because I'm seeing a lot of questions are coming as I was talking. But I just want to give you one, as I said, those 5 mantras that I've said. Please remember this. Don't go by, don't go by peers, or don't go by somebody has told you. Bring your individuality. You are different. You are each individually, each one is different. And therefore, you don't have to go for some success formula. Somebody has told you this way you do it. Just forget about it. Bring your creative ability, and then you know how you'll flourish in PhD. As I said, PhD is not simply solving a problem. PhD is bringing a character in your thing, which will fundamentally change who you are. Thank you.
So Sonde, it was really wonderful, but I think one question I am really not able to hold. So I would definitely like that. Let this be the last question, and it is interesting actually. It is by B. Bala. It was a wonderful session, sir, and was a great motivation to us. I wanted to know your secret of being energetic.
That's my question too.
So I thought I must not hold this question.
Normally, I say it is my intellectual property. I have patented this kind of a thing. No, my dear students. A lot of people tell, my guru, Anil Kakorkar, always says, joking to everybody, all energies may get exhausted, even renewable energy may go, but Sonde energy will never get exhausted. So tap into Sonde energy is, I consider him as my true guru. You must be knowing the person who was the architect of India's nuclear program, and I worked under him. So there is nothing secret, or there is nothing about it. It is exactly what I said. Bring joy in your work. Enjoy the work that you are having it. There is no way that then you will not have these energy levels. Absolutely only one formula, my dear. Bring that ecstasy in your life. Bring that joy in your life. How do you do that? How do you do that particular joyful nature is only when you have to do internalization. How do you do that? Only one way, my dear students, be meditative. Meditation is very important, because very often we are in a reactive mode. The external situation, somebody says good, we become happy. Somebody says you are bad, you become angry. Somebody says you are this. So we are in a reactive mode, and therefore our mood keeps fluctuating based on the responses that we get, because we are entirely connected to the outside. Our five sensory perceptions are like this. But once you connect yourself inside, which is true self, which is known as the true self. Ramana Maharshi talked about who you are. There's one question that we are all not struggling. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Do this meditative practice 1 hour you may not be able to do 1 hour, 30 minutes. I do it for about 1.5 hours every day. Then you will realize, this is an inexhaustible source of energy that is available, inexhaustible energy, joy that is available, inexhaustible happiness. Outside verse is for me also. The world is throwing a lot of muck at me, rubbish at me. It doesn't matter. Teflon coating ho jata hai. Bas, that's all that makes me happy. And this is where I derive my infinite enthusiasm for life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Again, let me at the conclusion, on behalf of the entire ACSIR team, all the students of ACSIR who are in different laboratories and institutions who were listening to you, and those who had joined, who were listening to you through live streaming, because this program was also being live streamed, and all the faculty members of ACSIR who had joined this session, and every other individual who had joined this session. Let me thank all of you. And first of all, I would like to thank Professor Sonde for an excellent talk and a motivational talk, not only for the students, but I think for every one of us. And some of the things got refreshed because we also have passed through this journey. And I would echo what he has said, that all of us feel that we should have been 30 years younger to start our PhD again. And because this is a very exciting time, as all of us can see, and you have very beautifully explained the opportunities, the challenges which are in front of us, and how the young students can actually pursue their career goal, and not only do research for the research sake, but actually contribute towards the society, towards this planet. So once again, thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful talk, and thanks for being here this morning. Thank you once again. Namaskar.
Thank you very much. I'm grateful for you to give me this opportunity. I'm sure it must have motivated, even 10% of them motivated. I would consider this efforts worth it. Thanks once again. Maybe we'll catch up since I'm in Delhi. May I be allowed to leave now? Is that okay if I can?
Yes,
jump
please,
out?
please. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you.
please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Now I will request our director, Professor Manoj Dhar, to address the students.
Well, good morning, dear students and faculty members of ACSIR who have joined us for this program. And I am speaking to you today with great excitement and privilege as we gather to welcome our new cohort of brilliant minds who have embarked on a remarkable journey of intellectual exploration and scholarly pursuit. As you begin this chapter of your academic lives, I wish to extend my warmest congratulations and heartiest welcome to each one of you. Today, I will speak about ACSIR, but that will be towards the end of my talk. But I would begin that in the last few months, which I have been after joining ACSIR, I am trying to convey a message to the research scholars who are registered with ACSIR that it's a very important activity which you are doing. And as Professor Sonde has already explained to you, that let us move from fact finding to solutions building. And by promoting education and through quality education for all of you, you can be the voice of change and peace. Now, as all of you know that we are a young nation, as the fastest growing economy today, 1/5 of world's youth live in India. Half of our population of 1.4 billion is below the age of 25, and a quarter is below the age of 14. This tells you that India's young population is its most valuable asset and most pressing challenge as well. It provides India with a unique demographic advantage, and we as a country have to take advantage of this. Now, world peace is contingent upon freedom, peace, and happiness among and within all nations. So, what are the ways of achieving world peace? Another champion of world peace, Nelson Mandela, said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Now let us have a look on few facts. 1 in 5 adults in developing world, that is almost 862 million people, cannot read or write. Most illiterate persons are female. in more than 20 developing nations, illiteracy rates amongst women exceed 70%. As much as 115 million children of primary school age are not enrolled in school. More than 226 million children do not attend secondary school. Now, across the world, many children miss out on their education because they are made to work to help support their families and many other reasons. Now, girls are most likely to be excluded from school than boys when there isn't enough money to go around. As many as 2 out of 3 out of school children are girls. Now then the question is that if you look at this scenario, it is most important that we actually consider education or granting education to people as one of the most important activities. Now, why higher education? Institutions of higher learning such as universities have always been visualized as hubs of scientific, cultural, and moral values in the world. Education is fundamental for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. You must have known that recently the government came out with a National Education Policy, NEP 2020, and the main focus of National Education Policy is providing universal access to quality education, which is key to India's continued ascent and leadership on the global stage in terms of economic growth, social justice and equality, scientific advancement, national integration, and cultural preservation. Nowadays, institutions like ours are viewed as knowledge providers, as innovation facilitators, as promoters of entrepreneurial talent, as economic and civic leaders, and mostly as knowledge pioneers. So NEP 2020 envisions an education system rooted in Indian ethos that contributes directly to transforming India sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all and thereby making India a global knowledge superpower. Now, NEP 2020 also gives us some of the things which are very unique, which have happened. This education policy has come out after about 36 years, and it's entirely a new perspective on the education system of which you are a part and you are to contribute now and in future as well. NEP 2020 has some basic principles. And what are those basic principles? These are access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. And it gives us the freedom to adopt dynamic teaching and research programs, choice, that is choice, mobility, integrate practical and creative experience, and it is learner-centered. Now, why I am telling you all this is that this is what we are going to imbibe in AcSIR. This is what is going to be imbibed in your PhD program. And it will be based on these principles of national education policy. So our aim is to foster synergy of research activities, interdisciplinary linkages, component of values and ethics in research, and of course, we are committed to provide the world-class infrastructure which is available in the CSIR laboratories. And in our programs, we'll have a greater emphasis on innovation-based research and startups for achieving sustainable development goals by 2030. We want to provide opportunities to students for learning from other disciplines and cultures. AcSIR, through all academic centers, can play an important role in emergence of knowledge-based economy and growth. This is what was highlighted by Professor Sonde as well, that in the knowledge economy, wealth creation is increasingly based on knowledge generation, acquisition, sharing, distribution, transformation, and consumption. Now, traditionally, what we have been doing is that there was a traditional mission, if you say, is teaching, learning, and research. But now, knowledge becomes a strategic resource, and knowledge creation an essential function of the new creating class. Since all functions of the institution are related to knowledge creation, just like ours, knowledge transfer, knowledge transformation, distribution, so institutions like ours become knowledge intensive organizations with the dominance of intellectual capital, that is you and the distinguished faculty of AcSIR, over any other form of physical capital. Now, do you know what is the theme of Science 20? India has proposed disruptive science for innovative and sustainable development as the subject for Science 20 this year. Three sets of issues are being discussed. One, universal holistic health with emphasis on prevention of disease. Second, adoption of clean energy for a greener future. And third, connecting society, science to society and culture. And I think I need not to highlight much about this, but certainly India has a long and illustrious history of higher education institutions that date back to ancient times. These institutions were centers of learning, attracting scholars from across the world and contributing significantly to the advancement of knowledge and scholarship. As you embark on your educational journey, it's important to recognize and appreciate the rich tapestry of Indian culture and the profound legacy of knowledge that our land has carried since times immemorial. India's cultural heritage is a treasure trove of wisdom, traditions, and values that have shaped our society and continue to influence the world. The diversity of languages, customs, and traditions across our nation is a testament to the rich amalgamation of ideas and experiences that have evolved over centuries. You have just heard from Professor Sonde about 5 mantras of doing research and also the characters to be developed. And I think he highlighted the importance of the values, the importance of the traditions, the wisdom, the ancient knowledge that we have in our country. And I think that is what needs to be inculcated. Now, one of the hallmarks of Indian culture has been the emphasis on knowledge and learning. As I was telling you, our ancient centers of learning like Takshashila and Nalanda were beacons of education that attracted scholars from across the world. You will be surprised, or maybe you are already aware, that subjects like mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy were studied with utmost dedication in these ancient universities, laying the foundations for modern scientific and philosophical thought. The importance of education is embedded in our cultural DNA. Our scriptures advocate not just the pursuit of knowledge, but also its application for the betterment of society. The concept of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, reflects the inclusive spirit of Indian culture, where knowledge is seen as a tool to bridge differences and foster unity. So as you engage with your studies, take a moment to reflect on the profundity of Indian culture. Recognize that the values, traditions, and knowledge that have been passed down to us are not just historical relics, but living sources of inspiration. Let this awareness infuse your pursuit of education with a sense of purpose and a commitment to contributing positively to the world. Now, starting a PhD program is not merely stepping into a higher level of education, it's embarking on a path of discovery, innovation, and contribution to the world of academia. It's about delving deep into the realm of unknown, questioning existing paradigms, and unraveling the mysteries that lie ahead. It's an opportunity to shape the future not just for yourselves, but for generations to come. This journey undoubtedly will have its challenges. It will require dedication, perseverance, and a thirst for knowledge that propels you forward even when the path seems daunting. There will be moments of triumph and times when you will feel like you have hit roadblocks. But remember, it is those very challenges that you will find the opportunity to grow, to refine your ideas, and to push the boundaries of your own capabilities. Now, one of the exciting aspects of pursuing a PhD is the chance to engage with diverse perspectives, collaborate with fellow scholars. Very important thing. I'm underlining this. Collaborate with fellow scholars and immerse yourselves in a community of like-minded individuals who are passionate about the same fields of study. Your peers, teachers, professors, and mentors will be your greatest allies, guiding you through the academic landscape and offering invaluable insights that will shape your intellectual journey. But beyond the classroom, beyond the research lab, lies a responsibility that goes beyond grades and publications. It's the responsibility to contribute to the broader society. The knowledge you acquire, the discoveries you make have the power to influence policy, improve industries, and transform lives. Your research is not limited to academic papers, it's a force for positive change. As you venture into PhD program, keep your curiosity alive. That's most important. Keep your curiosity alive, your determination unwavering, and your passion burning bright. Embrace the uncertainty, for it is within the unknown that the most groundbreaking ideas emerge. Remember that growth occurs not just within the comfort zone, but beyond it. I encourage you to collaborate, to challenge each other's ideas, and to support one another in this journey. Your fellow students are your greatest assets, and together you will thrive as a community of learners. In conclusion, you are not just beneficiaries of science and technology, you are its custodians and drivers. Let's recognize our potential, embrace our responsibilities, and actively engage in shaping our nation's destiny. By combining our passion, knowledge, and collaborative spirit, we can propel India to new heights of progress, innovation, and inclusive development. So, to our newly joined PhD students, I once again say welcome. Welcome to a world of endless possibilities, to a realm of discovery, and to a future where your contributions will shape the world. Embrace this opportunity, make the most of it, and I have no doubt that you will not only succeed, but you will excel beyond your wildest dreams. Let me now give you a glimpse of what ACSIR is and what all activities we are doing at ACSIR. So I will show you just a minute. I have a small presentation, so just yeah. I hope the slides are visible. Yeah, okay. So ACSIR is the full form of ACSIR is Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research. It's an institution of national importance established by an act of parliament. And this slide shows the ACSIR nationwide academic program footprint. It's a unique model of a research institute, research university. And as you can see, our presence is pan-India. We have academic programs in science and engineering, operational at 56 national institutes, which include 38 CSIR laboratories and 18 non-CSIR. We call them as academic centers. They are DST, ICMR, and other laboratories covering 31 cities. So you can see the presence of ACSIR pan-India. So far as our academic programs are concerned, we offer PhD in sciences, physical, chemical, biological, environmental, mathematical, and information science. We offer PhD in engineering, integrated PhD in science and engineering, postgraduate studies, Master of Science, Master of Technology, Master of Public Health, and postgraduate diploma. And currently, there are about 6,700 PhD students on rolls, which is the highest among educational institutions in India. And PhD enrollment is more than 1,000 per year. This year, we had more than 1,000 students joining the ACSIR family. And in terms of academic output, as you can see that last year in 2022, ACSIR awarded 577 PhDs, and the faculty-wise distribution, you can see that large number of PhDs were awarded in chemical sciences and biological sciences, about 400 in engineering sciences, 284 in physical sciences, and 18 in mathematical and information science. The ACSIR has international academic collaborations, and we have joint PhD degree program with RMIT University Melbourne, Australia, University of Western Australia Perth, and Deakin University Australia. And there are efforts going on towards having more universities, more collaborations with the international universities for joint degree programs. So far as the ranking is concerned, ACSIR is currently ranked third among universities in India after IISc Bangalore and AIMS in Chicago. And NIRF ranking, we have got this year 12th rank in the research institution category in NIRF, and Nature Index, currently we are ranked 11th among universities in India. I'll briefly say that this is the conventional model as to how the students, the research scholars, contribute to the society in terms of you can have research publications, patents, that is more related to academic work, and then the industry actually derives the products and services and contributes to the society. But the model which we are trying to develop at ACSIR now is to bring in the industry component, and together with the industry, we want to have innovative programs and innovative PhD program wherein technologies will be developed by the students under the mentorship of the scientists of the laboratories where they are working and also the industry experts. So it will be a kind of joint program wherein industry will fully back this program right from the beginning. And our aim is that we want to produce more of sciecepreneurs than simple PhDs, so that you can be armed with all the skills related to either take the startups or have your own startups or join the industries, because you will be, the PhD will be actually determined in terms of what would be the problem, how will you will be working on those, what are the technologies which are relevant to the industries. All those things will be featured in this PhD program, and we had recently announced this as first of its kind ACSIR and Innovation Fellowships for PhD program at all CSIR laboratories, wherein this program will be packed with curriculum based on innovation and entrepreneurship. It will be backed by industrial support, guided by competent mentors, and you will be exposed to world-class research infrastructure which is available. Shortly, we are going to announce this program. It will be one of its kind, as I told you. And we are also trying to restructure the coursework wherein we are trying to bring in more audited courses from MOOCs. The course content is being modified. There will be a training component for pedagogy, then inclusion of experts from industry and skill training. And again, our focus would be on strengthening multidisciplinary research, strengthening collaborations for research, promoting outcome-based research, that is in terms of innovation, societal benefits, patents, strengthening research, communication and writing skills. As Professor Sonde also said that communication is very important. So we'll be making efforts to strengthen this in your labs, networking, blogs, online platforms, research and science clubs. They have already been introduced. A science club is being initiated in all the labs, workshops and seminars, skill development and development training programs. So what is the way ahead at ACSIR is that we will have credit-based courses and projects in the area of community engagement and service, environmental education and value-based education, ethics and human and constitutional values like empathy, respect for others, cleanliness, courtesy, democratic spirit, spirit of service, respect for public property, liberty, responsibility, pluralism, equality, and justice. These we are thinking in terms of inculcating in the course work program, which we'll have either in the credit form or in the audit form. There will be zero tolerance to plagiarism, that each one of you has to pledge. Research and innovation, the focus would be on innovative research problems or innovative approaches to solve the problems. We are trying to develop industry linkages and involve industry experts as co-supervisors or DAC members wherever possible. And we urge all of you to get benefited from the MOUs which ACSIR has with foreign universities and institutions. And not many students are coming forward when we talk in terms of applications for these international programs, joint degree programs, because of whatever reason they have. But I urge you all to think in terms of availing these opportunities which are being offered by the ACSIR. Let me at the end assure all of you that we are with you. We are here to see that how your journey as research scholars, as PhD scholars can become more exciting, can become more, I would say, healthy and productive. So all those things which are important in this direction, those steps will be taken care by the ACSIR in future as well. So I wish you all the best, and I am sure that you will be able to perform best in your life. Thank you so much. And again, I extend a very warm welcome to you for joining the ACSIR as research students. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank our director, Professor Manoj Dhar, for his very inspirational words of wisdom to all our students. I hope you will follow his words of ethical research and also follow the moral part of the talk during your research work. And now finally, as you know, PhD is only research, but then the research has to be structured along with some administrative rules and regulations. So I would request our senior manager, Ms. Arpita Sengupta, to give you an overview of the rules and regulations that our students have to follow while doing their PhD. And she will also give you perhaps some tips on which your PhD can be completed early, at least the coursework. Thank you. Arpita, please.
Thank you, sir. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you, the new students who have joined ACSIR in the August 2023 batch. I also say hello to all the faculty member and the students from the earlier batches who are present in this at this meeting. So, as you know that you have joined ACSIR for your PhD program, but your administrative location is at any of the CSIR labs or any of the labs of the associate academic centers of ACSIR. However, please understand that, Ashwini, can you please present the second slide onwards, please? Second slide, please. So, as Professor Dhar has already shown you this slide before, the academic footprint of ACSI all over India through the ACSI labs and the other associate academic centers of ACSIR. Please understand, this opens up a vast opportunity for all of you. You may have taken admission in one lab at one city, but all the other labs, the infrastructure, the faculty base, the knowledge base, everything is under your control through this academic association of ACSIR. So you can have access to anybody, you can take help from anybody, and through ACSIR, this ACS is a common platform on which all the CSIR labs and the other associate academic centers stand together. So as I has already shown you before, that ACSIR has been achieving some higher ranks in terms of Shimago ranking, Nature Index ranking, and the India rankings, NIRF ranking. In last 3 years, it has jumped from 22nd position to 12th position, and which we attribute this achievement is attributed to whatever you have achieved. So whatever you do as a student in ACSIR, that reflects in how ACSIR performs, and eventually that is going to help you in the long run. ACSIR has some academic collaboration with foreign universities. Currently, we are restricted to Australia only. There are 3 Australian universities with whom we are having associations. But this association is going to expand in near future. As Professor Dhar had already told you earlier, that we urge you to take apply for these programs, because this give you a vast opportunity to work in those institutes, in the foreign institutes, and these programs are completely fully paid. So you don't have to spend anything out of your pocket. What you will gain is 2 degrees, one from ACSIR and one will be which will be awarded by the partners in Australia for now. So academic timelines of PhD, I should about the rules and regulations. First of all, what you need to do is academic timeline of PhD that needs to be maintained very categorically. So we have seen in past that whenever there is some deviation from maintenance of this academic timelines, delays happen. So the submission of thesis process gets delayed whenever there is some deviations. So we urge all the students to first follow the academic timelines in such a manner so that everything is done in a right manner, following the proper timeline. So that includes allocation of supervisor on your joining, constitution of your DAC, individual DAC, then conduct of the DAC meetings, and the progress reports are to be submitted in every semester. Coursework are to be completed within a specific time limit, specifically between 2nd and 4th semester. Timely completion of comprehensive examination opens up the opportunity for you to apply for this international collaborative programs, joint PhD degree programs. So we urge all the students to please follow the timelines and complete the comprehensive and the DAC meetings in a timely manner. Finally, the pre-thesis open colloquium is supposed to be held after all your academic requirements are completed, including the completion of coursework, including the completion of the societal project that ACS, which is a unique program of ACSIR. And thesis submission is normally within 6 months after completion of the pre-thesis open colloquium. ACSIR students are given some flexibility with respect to the timeline. So beyond 6 months, there is possibility of extension for submission of thesis, but we usually try to urge the students to follow the timeline so that the degrees can be awarded well in time. Next, please, Ashwini. So this slide just provides the minimum academic requirements. All these details are already provided in the ACSR handbook. So handbook is a compilation of all the current rules and regulations of ACSIR. So this table shows you the maximum and minimum time limit for completion of a PhD thesis. Then the coursework requirement, credit course that you need to take up for completion of all the academic requirements. All these details are provided here, which I need not elaborate here much, but these are available already in the ACSI website and in the handbook. As a student of ACSIR, you have certain responsibilities as well. It's not that, Ashwini, next one, please. It's not that ACSIR is also responsible for conduct of your academic programs, but as a student, you also have certain responsibilities so that everything is on track. So one is particularly important is regular attendance. We have had instances where students have been absent for a long time and which has at times led to cancellation of their registration as well. So it is urged that you please attend your institute regularly. Academic timeline should be maintained meticulously. So whenever everything is done on time and the timelines are maintained and deviations are less, then everything it happens just like that, and you really don't need to worry about the completion of your program. For continuation of academic programs, we need to also keep track of the students who are being present and they are continuing in the program. So every semester you have to submit your semester academic continuation form, which is called the SAC form. Along with the SAC form, you have to submit a brief work report and the proof of payment of semester tuition fees. The payment of tuition fee every semester is also one of the responsibilities the students have. So please understand all the payments to ACSIR, be it your tuition fee or any other fee, needs to be done through the online SBI portal only. No other method of payment is acknowledged in ACSIR. Students are also urged to follow the proper channels for redressal of any issues they have. We have had instances where students have gone directly to higher authorities, which really delays the process of redressal of those issues. So you, in each of your lab, you have an ACSR coordinator. You have some of the labs have ACSR associates in those labs. The first, at first, you should please approach your coordinator and the associates for redressal. If not, you already have the ACSI headquarters where you can directly approach the Associate Director of Student Affairs for any of your issues, which will be addressed very leniently and as early as possible. Going to higher authorities, bypassing all these proper channels actually delays the process. And things will get very delayed. The process of thesis submission get delayed if such issues are not redressed in a proper manner. And handbook is one thing that you need to look into because all the processes that you need to follow are detailed there. I really do not need to highlight each and every one of them, but some of the academic flexibilities that ACSIR provides you are like the transfer of credit for PhD program. You have, if you have already completed some credits elsewhere before joining the ACSIR PhD program, ACSI has a provision to have those credits transferred towards the ACSI completion of the ACSI credit requirements. Courses offered at any academic centers of ACSI can be taken by the students, but this has to be done in consultation with their specific supervisors and the DAC members and through the coordinators of the lab. There's provision for taking academic break for PhD students. At sometimes it has happened that people get a job in between and they need to leave. So ACSI allows those students to take academic break instead, so that for 2 years, up to a maximum of 2 years, they can take a break, come back, rejoin the PhD program and complete, so that whatever you have done before getting in your job is not wasted. There is provision for inter-institutional transfer of ACSI students under very specific conditions, but that is still can be done. ACSI students can change the subject faculty of study of their PhD. the students are allowed to take re-registration after completion of 6 years. So as you know, for a PhD program, the minimum and maximum period is 3 years and 6 years. But many a times people are not able to complete their PhD in 6 years. So ACS has given them opportunity to re-register for PhD, which gives them 2 additional years after completion of 6 years. Exemption of physical presence at the Institute of PhD students are also given to those students who have completed their PTOC. After completion of PTOC, they are free to go and take up any job or any other assignments anywhere else. They need not be present all the time on the campus. ACS also gives opportunity for the students to convert their PhD program from regular to sponsored category of PhD enrollment in case any of you get a job opportunity in between and your employer is agreeable to your for your continuation of your PhD program. So I guess these are basically all the major points of concern, and please follow the handbook. Please get in touch with us in case you have any queries. ACSR coordinators are there in each and every lab. So any concerns, please, I ask all of you to get in touch with the ACSR coordinator first for any issues that needs redressal. So Seth, I think this should be all for the
Yes,
students.
thank you,
Thank
Arpita,
you
for
very much.
highlighting all the major things. I will just repeat two important things. What she already has mentioned, grievance redressal. If any student anywhere has any grievance about anything, on the last page of the handbook, there is a grievance redressal mechanism. I, fully assure you, every grievance will be addressed finally. Now, how it is to be addressed, it is mentioned in the last page of your handbook. And although very, very fraction amount of students, sometimes, very rarely, write to higher authorities. Let me make it very explicit that writing to higher authorities without following the hierarchy that is mentioned in the handbook would be construed as misconduct. Clearly mentioned in the rules, it will be considered as misconduct, and appropriate disciplinary action can be initiated on the students. Because there's already a very nice existing method, but people want shortcuts. They will not be tolerated at ACSR. And as I said, they can invite disciplinary action. Second thing is that every laboratory has an ACSR coordinator who's like your mentor. For any problems, go to him. And most of the institutes affiliated to ACSR have a executive consultant or a assistant manager who is controlled by headquarters here. So you can take help of both the people for any clarification you want from them.
So there's a question from B. Bala, how to get access to the collaborations, the international collaborations. So to answer that, whenever ACSR and the collaborating institute is ready with the admission to start the admission process, a notification is sent to all the coordinators and to all the eligible candidates of those batch who will be eligible for application to this for this call. So individual mails are also being sent every year.
But Arpita, may I also mention here that as per the rules, students who have completed their comprehensive examination in 3 years are eligible to apply, although the rules say you can complete in 4 years. So my suggestion, 4 semesters, sorry, I got that wrong. 4 semesters, I repeat. So please try to finish it's a advice from me. Try to finish your coursework in first 2 semesters, at best by 3 semesters, so that you can complete your comprehensive examination by 3rd semester. So again, try and take courses, talk to your DAC or talk to your supervisor or your other mentors. Try to finish your coursework in first 2 semesters. Only then, if you have completed your comprehensive by 3rd semester, will you be eligible for these fellowships. The details of the fellowships are given in the handbook. Only one line I will tell you, every penny, right from the international fair
monthly fellowship, insurance, tuition fee waiver is all given to you for availing this fellowship of 1 year at these 3 universities. So bottom line, try to finish your coursework in first 2 semesters as far as possible.
So there's a question from Ayan Kumar Ghosh. So he's asking any update with the fellowship amount from ACSIR. Ayan, you should understand the fellowships are not being given by ACSIR. Fellowships are funded from the national funding agencies, CSIR, UGC, all those institutions. So fellowship related issues addressed directly to them. ACSIR does not give any fellowship to any student. That answer, I think. So there are no more questions. So
I think one question is there, sir. TCG Crest is also included from this session.
Yeah, the answer is yes. And you can apply there whenever the admissions are open.
2024 session, not this year.
Obviously, the session you are being admitted to is not possible. Possibly in the next session you can. And for any questions, you can please contact the ACSIR employee who are called executive assistants or assistant managers in the respective labs, or maybe talk to your ACSIR coordinators in who are there, one each in each lab or each institute affiliated to ACSIR. So you can clear your clarifications and also read the handbook. After reading all those and talking to your people at your institute, I don't think you will be left with any more doubts. Can we close?
Yeah, I think if there are no other questions, so we can close the session, today's session.
So may I request you to please close the session?
Okay, so dear students, I think it was a very inspiring and motivating session with Professor Sonde, and he has wonderfully explained what all needs to be done. And we have also from ACSIR point of view explained to you that what all is there for you to help you to motivate you and to help in your progress on PhD. So everything has been explained, yet I am sure that there will be many questions in your mind, and you may have further clarifications may be needed for that. And as already Professor Dhar has told you that you can contact us, and we are with you in this journey, and we hope to interact with you in physical form as well in your laboratories, but obviously it will take time to do that. But see you again, and my best wishes to all of you, and for a fruitful career. So all the best. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.